Welcome to a brand new season on TLC. This season is packed with episodes that challenges the mind and ask important questions with the sole aim of providing solutions. My name is Tobi Jolugbo. I can't wait to get started. I'm super excited. I'll go on a quick commercial break, and when I'm back, you will meet my guest. Welcome to another exciting episode on TLC. I think on the season, we've been able to establish that the Gen Z and the late millennials are the most educated in history. But recruiters find it difficult to retain them. You will find out why when I'm back from my quick break. My name is Tobi Jolugbo. Do not forget to follow us on our social media platform at The Leading Circle. I'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I've got with me Nkoyo in the studio. Hi, Nkoyo.
Hi.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Please introduce yourself to the house.
All right. My name is Nkoyo Anwanakak, and I am a human resource manager.
Fantastic. I think you're the person I really want to have on the set. Tell me what's most challenging about your job.
Actually, the most challenging thing about my job is managing people. And that's actually the core function of my job.
Of the job, human resource.
Yes, because human beings are quite, some are slippery ill, some are firm, you can hold on to them. So it's just, that's the most challenging thing, managing human beings, managing individuals.
Okay, what of recruitment? Tell me, isn't it so difficult recruiting, especially in the Nigeria of today?
Challenging, yes, but not difficult to get.
Okay.
It's just for you, as a human resource, you need to, I call it the sixth sense.
Sixth sense, you need to have it.
Because it's beyond what you present in your CV.
Okay.
You tell us to read it, you read it, but then you come and it's what you bring into the table. There's always that contrast.
Okay.
It's always conflicting. So as a human resource, it's very important for you to have that sixth sense. So even from the interviewing stage, when you're interacting with the person, we read beyond your words.
You read the body language as well?
Everything about you. So if you say you do something, I read your body language when you say it, because there's always a body language to when you actually say what you do. So I pick that signal, and I record it, and then I use that as my judgment. You get
when this. Okay, so you're part of the people that say, "I'll get back to you," and never get back.
You get, so you will be thinking, but I said everything I'm qualified for.
Exactly, I'm expecting them to call me.
Sometimes it's beyond the qualifications for me.
Okay.
It's also about the company culture.
Sure.
Yes, qualifications is important, but there's company culture. So if we look at you, I interview you, I meet with you, and I see that you'll not be able to be in sync with our company culture, even though you are wonderfully talented and qualified. Yes, so those are the things. So human resource and recruitment is beyond just looking at your qualifications now. It's a whole lot that most people are not even aware of.
Fantastic. So I made a research, and I read the fact that Gen Zs only spend 3 weeks at the place of work. Would you tell me the reason why?
I call them the troublesome bunch.
Troublesome bunch?
Yes.
Troublesome bunch is another new name. Wow.
I like giving names to things. So I call them the troublesome bunch, and what I would say that is they are not relaxed to stay in an environment. But then again, I don't blame them. I don't blame them totally, because the enabling environment in the workspace for Gen X, Gen Y is different.
True.
For the Gen Zs, they need a much more better enabling environment, because they're all about flexibility.
That's true.
They're all about, wanting to do their own thing in their own time. At their own pace. So would I say, thank God for 2020, that made companies go back to the drawing board, drawing book
from home,
to edits their workspace culture. So now I would say companies have been able to imbibe that in their culture, whereby Gen Zs can actually work effectively in any organizations.
Okay.
But you know we are in Nigeria, and not all organizations have been able to. I mean, a lot of organizations were struggling that year 2020 to see how their staffs could work effectively even while being at home.
True.
Let me use myself as an example. I have a lot of experiences.
Okay.
That 2020, when it happened, my MD then was very worried. He was like, people are not working, they're not working. I said, sir, how can we judge that they're not working?
Okay.
Is it because they're at home? But I'm not. And I had a brief talk with him, and I said, let's look at, I picked a colleague of mine then, for example. I said, look at this lady.
Okay.
When she's at office, how often does she dishes out things to you? She doesn't dish out things to you that often. But because she's sitting on her seat, you think she's doing her job.
Something.
So there's no difference between that and now. Now she's home. She is still more or less seated on her seat doing her job.
Okay.
Is when she needs to dish out things to you as you request or as expected of her, that she does it. It's not all roles that have that back-to-back, information. You have to start dish out mails, you have to make phone calls. It's not all roles. Some roles are quite dormant.
True.
Some roles are dormant, but doesn't make them ineffective.
Okay.
So they're effectively dormant. That's and they add up into the whole 100% of the whole company. You understand? So it was a struggle. So we have a lot of bosses like my former boss who can't wrap their minds around that fact that you can actually be working effectively
from
home. And I can assure you, as soon as the lockdown was released, it threw everybody back into the workforce. And I said, no, let's have a hybrid.
Yeah, gradually.
Hybrid.
Okay.
I was looking at hybrid. Hybrid is where you have a few days at home, a few days at the office. You don't get to come to the office Monday to Friday. But once you are working from home, your 9 to 5 is your 9 to 5 is your working time. So we were able to have that for a little while. But then again, like I said, managing human beings is most challenging part in this role. And I had a colleague of mine she just tipped it, and then there was no going back from there.
Wow.
And the MD just said, everybody just come back to the office. And that was it.
Okay, so I still want to take you back to the Jameses.
Yeah.
Did you have some of them working with you as a 2020?
As a 2020, no.
Okay.
But currently I have a Gen
Okay,
Z.
because I so understand the fact that they are the ones in the labor market at the moment.
Yes.
And how have you been able to cope? Recruiting them first, how have you been able to cope?
Gen Zs, look out for keywords when you're recruiting them: flexibility. If there is no flexibility in there where they don't get to work Monday to Friday, literally, that's what they're looking for. If you don't put that on the table, you will not be able to grab the Gen Z that you're looking for to work for you.
And would you call them the talent that you're actually looking for?
Yes, yes.
Comparing to the ones you had in the company before 2020?
Oh, yes.
The talent, just in comparison, I want to know in the ratio of 1 to 10?
I would say
the productivity.
Yes. Productivity, talent, productivity are different.
Okay, that's true.
Let me dwell on talent.
All right.
For talent, between a Gen Z and the previous colleagues or employees, I would say is 8. You get, because Gen Zs, they love healthy competition. And healthy competition puts you on the toes.
On your toes.
You would always be on your toes, developing yourself personally. And that personal development is what gets you to the next level in life, basically. True. For productivity, because of the nature of Gen Z, we have
they like it quick, they like it fast.
Yes, sometimes we get to. Okay, let me explain this with a scenario. I have a Gen Z currently working in my organization. Okay. And he's working for us because he's doing hybrid. Okay. You see?
Okay, that would really work for you.
Yes.
I was about to go to that question, asking that when you're recruiting them, do they ask you the question, can I work from home?
Oh, yes.
And they still want to earn the same salary?
At that point in time, I'll just lay it all out on the table
and say no.
You can't eat your cake and have it. If you're going to work
That's the truth.
If you're going to work Monday to Friday, you will definitely. If you work Monday to Friday, yes, you are entitled to this full pay. But if you're doing hybrid, we'll have to review it and bring it down a little bit.
A little bit.
Yes.
No problem. I will take a quick break, and when I'm back, I would introduce my new guest in the house. Still watching TLC, our etiquette coach Remy Tidema is back. She will be taking us on Wonder Woman. Welcome back, everyone. I still have with me Nkoyo in the studio.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, I have with me now Gray and Elvis. How are you?
Blessed and highly favored.
Blessed and highly favored. Gray, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, I want to find out, Elvis, I'm talking about Gen Z and HR, human resource.
Right.
Have you ever encountered any?
The problem is, we all have.
Okay.
Everyone, we have.
All right.
I've had like back and forth relationships with like HR personnel and all of that.
All
I feel
right.
like I speak for everyone in my generation when I say we don't like HR.
Okay, Gray.
Yes, I agree.
Wow.
We do.
You don't like HR?
Yeah, we don't.
Okay, great. Do you want to tell me the reason why you guys don't like HR?
The thing is, with our generation,
Yes.
we like our freedom and we like being, we like being ourselves while being professional.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? There's a line between, drawing that line between the artist and the art.
Okay.
I can give you a job right now, and my 100% in this job has nothing to do with the way I look like.
Trust.
You understand? And I feel like as a company, as an establishment or whatever, you should always, it's what I have to offer you that you should focus on. You shouldn't focus on me or the way I
My
look or what.
personality, how I express
My personality.
Okay,
myself.
so have you been employed before? Have you guys been employed before?
I'm
Yes.
currently employed.
How long, how long have you been there?
Yeah.
Okay, how long have you been working there?
I have been working for 3 months involuntarily.
Involuntarily.
Yeah.
Great.
It's money that's lasting 3 months.
Is because of the money?
Yes, last
Great. Have you been employed before?
Yes, the last job I had was in 2020.
So how long did you stay there for?
I worked there for 1 year and 3 months, thereabouts.
1 year and 3 months.
Thereabouts.
So currently, so what do you guys want to do? For you now, what do you want
Like,
to
what
do?
is my dream job?
Exactly.
I feel like where I find myself most comfortable, where I feel like I would express myself, to the fullness of my ability, will be in entertainment.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Great. Where would you find yourself?
Fashion, definitely.
Fashion. You want to be a fashion influencer?
No,
I mean, you are a
influence.
fashion-
You
I already am
already
fashion
an
influencer.
There is a fashion
influencer.
influencer.
Yes,
Okay, that's
but-
true. How many followers do you have again?
21,000, thereabouts.
Same as you, Elvis?
You want to embarrass me?
Okay, Okoyo. So now I'm posing the question to you. Why is it that you guys don't find them employable?
It's not that we don't.
Okay.
We find them employable. When Gray was talking,
Yes.
the question that popped in my head was, why is it hard for the Gen Z generation to conform? But you want the HR to ensure that you're free to do what you want to do, but why can't you conform?
Okay.
There has to be a middle ground somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know the kind of HR you've encountered. And you say you're currently working somewhere. You worked last 2020. I also feel like after 2020, we had to improve in our interactions and how we operate and how we interact with employees and how we create structures, policies, just to ensure it's in line with the current, with the way the whole world literally changed.
But I want to ask you, Nkoye, don't you think the attention span of the Gen Z is one of the greatest challenges they are having?
It is.
Okay.
It is. That's the truth of the matter. And there's a research I was reading on about Gen Z, and it was all about how what organizations should do to literally ensure, make sure the Gen Zs stay in a place of work for a long period of time, just to keep them comfortable.
So
like babies,
things like
more
what?
like
Things like what?
Flexibility.
Okay. Flexibility, working hours.
Flexible working hours.
Okay.
Meaning you can have one day in a week to work, The rest of the day you can work from home.
Fantastic.
Like what works for you. Like I said before, I have a Gen Z current working for me.
Okay.
He does 2 days in a week.
Okay.
And sometimes he does 1.
Okay.
You get, and
the job is very effective, right?
very effective.
Okay.
Now, as a HR, I did not have a problem with him, but I told him I would have a problem with you if I start saying that I'm not getting what we need from you. Then it will become a problem, and it's not on the table for us to bring him full time. So the only thing that I will now be able to do as a HR, if he's not delivering as expected, is to what? Lay him off, as it were. But he has proven himself to be effective in like knowing his onions, doing his job well. So he gets 2 days in a week, and that's not a problem. Then also, making use of technology. Gen Zs, they're tech savvy.
Very tech savvy.
Mobile and everything.
And gadgets.
So, gadget and everything. So have an organization that has that is technologically inclined.
Yeah.
That attracts them.
That's why they
Whereby
really want to
they're able
work.
to work freely from their devices, be it mobile, tablet, be it tablet or laptop. They can easily operate. And there are lots of apps. See, after 2020, a lot of apps just came up. We have apps like Trello to monitor performance and activity, whatever you do. A Gen Z can be working from home. Our Gen Z works from home. The day he's not working in the office, he updates his activity on the Trello app. We check it and monitor. So there are lots of apps that has come up right now, and I'm glad to say that after 2020, that kind of helped us just revamp a whole lot of
the
things.
HR
Yes, it helped a whole lot,
department.
because I'm on the side when they said HR is not quite interesting.
Okay.
And before I became HR, I was once a non-HR.
All right.
Okay.
Elvis, would you like to work in an oil and gas company?
To do what? That's the most important
Very important question.
You
Also,
understand?
that applies to you as well. Great.
Can I ask him a question?
Okay, please go
What are you
ahead.
currently doing at your place of work since you see you on
So
call?
that's another problem I even want to raise
Oh, yeah?
with
Okay.
HR.
Please.
You
go
know,
ahead.
they hire you as when I was going for the job, I was supposed to be assisting the social media manager.
Oh, social
So when I
media.
got in, I was like, okay, so my job is social media management, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or any other social media platform, right? They said 1. I got to the job and I was like, oh, so you should be very able to, sacrifice yourself for the company. We're a family here. One red flag I did not see. And they were like, I got in, I was like, oh, I realized it was 4 different social media platforms. I was like, okay, that's good. It's still social media shit. Then I moved, I was doing graphic design. I was doing ads for them. I was creating content aside the normal one for the websites. They didn't follow the
And they
initial
did,
one.
is that...
I was doing deliveries. I was planning sip and paint parties. My job description increases every day. My salary does not increase.
HR, please,
That's
why do
always
you
the
guys
problem.
find it difficult?
Because they
to
think if they drop
increasing
it, I will
the
take it.
jobs and not increasing the pay?
Yeah.
It's not a thing of the HR. HR doesn't have the final say about salary increment. HR recommends to the management.
What?
Now, HR recommends with factors. You attach proof why the staff should
have a
have
pay
a salary
raise.
increase. Then sometimes the management decides because of probably their financial states.
Okay.
You have to consider that. As human resource, you are in between the employee and the employer, like the police.
Okay.
So you have to weigh all the options. So even before I recommend the salary raise to the management, I look at the financials. Of course, as human resource, I have a good interaction with the account department. So you understand the financials of the organization. Look at it. Okay, if we increase salary raise, will it affect the financials of the economy? Of the company. So all those things you have to consider. Now, but even if it's going to affect the financials of the company, if the staff is worth it, the HR's job to kind of stand in the gap for that staff and ensure it happens.
We can lose this person.
Yes.
All right.
Now, if that's a talent like what he said, man, when it was just going on, I was like, wow. And I could relate because even at my former place of work where I was HR, I was doing HR and other non-HR things.
Okay.
So it wasn't a thing of HR doing that to you. The HR has had meetings with the management. I don't know, and whatever information the HR is getting from the management, he or she will not be able to divulge it to you. You get. So it's just, you think that HR is not doing his or her job well.
Okay.
Now, I'm using myself as an example where even as a HR person, I was doing more than HR.
Okay.
Really out of my scope that I had to go start reading
So, but I just
on
still
those
want
things.
to
But then
find
again,
out. Okay, so now you've answered my question,
Yes.
saying is because you would have to check with the financials of the company.
But then again, most HR do these just because they feel they can.
Yeah.
So
Most.
you think what
Most.
Keyword most.
Yes.
Do you-
By
saying
most,
it.
it's like 98.
90.
No, like that's
A
too
huge
high.
chunk.
That's too high.
Is it most like
Most HR do this because they feel they can.
Yeah.
Okay.
They act
And I
labor
feel like
prefects.
I feel like if you're going to do that, compensate. There should be a compensation.
All right.
onto
I
that
want
effect.
to ask Gray this question. Just the way your fashion sense.
Okay.
Do you think your fashion sense as a Gen Z is one of the problems HR have always got with you guys?
Yes, I'm going to reply something she said earlier. She
Oh.
said she wants to know why we find it hard to conform to the
Yeah, I
company
also wanna say
rules
that.
and all
Yes.
of that. A company is not a company without the employees.
True.
Of course. That's what it's a human resource.
And the millennials are going to definitely get old and they can't work again and all of that. We are the ones they will end up with. Do you
Okay.
understand? And if you can't create a working environment that we are comfortable in, there's no way you can retain us. We're all going to leave your jobs for you and you probably end up with robots and all of that, but we're going to leave it for you. Like right now, everybody is doing one thing or the other that doesn't need
Like
A
school
corporate
per se or degree per se.
organization.
9 to
Yeah.
5 and all that.
Everybody
9 to
just
5,
wants to do a 9 to 5 because of these people.
You keep pointing out that.
Honestly, they've made it so undesirable.
Okay.
I remember growing
Yes.
up, my mom would be like, "Oh, I want you to work in an office in front of a computer." I do that currently, and I'm like, "Is this
is
the
not life.
adulting that they've been making noise about?"
All right, no problem. I'll go on a quick commercial break, and when I'm back, I would continue with my guest. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. I still have with me Unkoyo, Gray, and Elvis. Okay, Elvis. No, I would go to Gray. Gray, do you think HR do have issues with your sense of dressing?
Absolutely.
Have you ever lost any job because of your sense of dressing?
No.
Okay, not
Because
directly
I
to
don't
you.
even- I don't even want the jobs. The jobs I want don't have anything to do with the way I look.
Okay.
Should not have anything to do with the way I look.
But you have heard the fact that if you're working in a 9 to 5
Yes,
job,
I've seen them. When time I have conversations with HR personnel, the
Yeah.
first thing they go about is, do we get dressed? Do we get dressed? And I'm like, how am I dressed?
okay.
They don't have anything solid to hold on to. It's always a mind thing. It's always because I'm a doctor does not mean I can't have grills in my mouth. Because I'm a doctor does not mean I can't wear Balenciagas or wear whatever.
Nice. Elvis.
It's true. Like, I'm always on blonde hair.
Okay.
You understand? I always try to tint my hair because it's like an expression of my, person, my personality and all of that. You hear statements like, "Oh, it's not so presentable." I'm like, what isn't presentable?
About
Because
it.
I've seen women come to work with hair extensions that are like red. And no one has a problem with it. And I damn and say, "Oh, it's unnatural. If God did not create you with this hair, why are you tinting it? God created all of us naked. Why we wearing clothes?"
Do you understand?
You understand? If you want to use that logic, let's extend it to everything.
Okay. Okay. Why do you guys have problem with Gen Zs and the way they dress?
Exactly. You see the pause?
Yes, that was because there's nothing, like I said,
There's
there's
nothing-
nothing solid to hold
If
on
you're
to.
employing me, it's because
Can I
I'm
say
working
something?
for you.
Yes. Okay. She
You
wants
can't
to.
speak now.
Okay. I was discussing with one of them. I said, actually, the major problem is, as long as you're looking presentable, you're fine.
Okay.
But the major problem is the culture that's already been there. It's like trying to kill a giant in one day. It's a giant that has been there from inception, from the Gen X, Gen Y. You get?
Yeah.
So before you came, it was there.
Yeah.
So you now want to now bring it down like David and the Goliath and all that. Yes, that was something, that's beyond that. But it's quite hard to bring down the giants in 1 year. And that's because for me, it's not a problem. Your dress code might not really be a problem as long as you're delivering the job. And as long as your dress code is in line with our culture. I still hammer on company culture. I can go to an organization for now, a bank. What's their company culture? Suits. Corporate.
tie,
I have to align with that culture.
With shoe.
Yes.
But don't you think by now, in 2022, we need to start changing
Is there anything
and
about a suit that
performing?
makes you count
No,
one
the
way
thing, is, the
better?
thing is, yes, we need to start working on
Because
these things.
I know
That's
the
even
bank
different
do
for a
not
banker.
accept beards. And I know banks do not accept.
The beard is one that confuses me. The God that put the beard there, you don't know what he was doing.
Right now. Okay, you know what? The thing is, let me just talk about what he said about his place of work.
Okay.
When he was saying what he said, and about having colored hair, females having colored hair, and then the guys are having a problem. I think that's a HR problem.
Okay.
Because at my former place of work, there's no colored hair across boards. Male,
Even for
female.
females?
Yes.
I
There was a
can't
lady
braid.
that wore colored hair, and I queried her for it.
But why?
No, because that is the company culture. I'm still referring to the company culture. It's not even a personal thing. Now, if you're trying to change something, you have to start from the system.
So it all starts with, it has to be a black braid and a black weave.
No, it has to be something that is like what is on yours. It mustn't be shouted. Don't give me red. Don't give me blue. This lady came in, don't even give me gold. This lady came in with blue, like cyan blue, like this shouting thing.
Do you think you were fair to her?
I don't think it was fair to
her.
work. It's just color on her hair.
It was fair because now when you are employed, we hand over what I call the holy book of an organization, an employee handbook.
Who is
You
that?
see? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see?
Okay.
Who reads that thing? That is the problem.
Okay.
Now, if you are given an employee handbook, the moment you collect that handbook, the moment you accept to sign that contract letter, you're binding by whatever that company's rules and regulations are. If you have a problem with the rules and regulations, then leave the job.
But there are no
Hold on.
It's
No.
actually not fair to say don't pick up the job.
You cannot eat your cake and have it, Elvis. So once you collect the holy book, you cannot actually eat your cake and have it. That's why it's very important. When I'm giving it's called an employee handbook. When I'm giving a handbook to an employee, I say read it. It's very important. So that will let you know the company's culture, how they think, how they want you to operate, and how they want you to act, even in this organization. And the moment you collect a letter as a staff, if you have a problem, like when I'm recruiting, I'm kind of everywhere, but when I'm recruiting, I always tell them, like, ask your questions from this stage. I always tell the candidates, do you have a question for me? And then sometimes they go blank, and I'm like, I'll be throwing at them the question. Ask me questions about this. Ask me questions about this. Have you read up about the organization? Are you aware of what we do? Do you have a question with our culture? And then I make them ask me the question, and I give them the answer. So right there and then, from that initial stage, you are aware of what the company represents as a culture. You now ask yourself, even though you're qualified, am I ready to stay in this organization's culture or not?
I get you, Unkoyo, but I want to find out.
Give the military rule.
Oh my God! It's a military. So, like that. Okay, so now with the 2022 and where we stand and where we are right now, we understand. I know you understand the fact that the labor market and it's quite difficult right now.
Yes, it is.
We majorly have the Gen Zs now.
Yes,
so
we do.
how do you think you can really make them employable? Don't you think the companies really need to modify their culture and not make it cast in stone?
I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you. Everything your company has, documentation and all that, is not a cast in stone. It's always open for review. They call it change management.
Yeah.
So there's always change management.
How often does that happen in yours?
It depends on yearly. It's a yearly thing.
Yearly, okay.
As a matter of fact, we can even have a review. Something comes up and then I'm instructed, review this book, review the policy, review the procedure to effect the change immediately. And once that is reviewed, it's communicated across all boards to all staff.
Okay.
So change management is however you want to do it, but by procedure is always a yearly thing. But when an emergency happens and there's a cost to change one or two things, it happens immediately. There's always a room for that. So change management allows, to your question, yes, we need to start making things better. We need to start making, we need to start, modify. And a lot of organizations have done that.
Okay.
A lot of companies have done that.
All right.
But then again, we have not gotten to their satisfaction
Okay.
yet.
All right.
Yes.
So we have not gotten to their satisfaction yet. So I would just advise Gen Z, just be patient with the system.
When I get old?
No, you will not get old.
Okay.
Obviously not. Hopefully
All
not.
right. I want to find out, what do you think the culture, the company's culture, that can happen that would make you want to still do a 9-to-5 job? I asked you previously if you would like to work in an oil and gas company or a banking sector.
Banking,
No, definitely no
I have a
banking.
question for Gray. What company were you working for when you did 1 year plus?
Okay, I was working for this publishing house. It was a publishing house, different publishing companies were all together.
So your passion has always been in that scene, like
Oh,
you're in
no.
the publishing house and now you want to do social media.
No,
Oh,
I'm
you
in-
are
yeah,
fashion.
I-
Fashion.
I-
He's social media.
No, I'm
Yeah.
entertainment.
You
So
are
anything
now.
entertainment.
So
Fashion,
what
yes.
are you looking out for that would make you want to change your mind to a 9 to
Nothing.
5? Nothing.
Nothing. I don't want to do
Elvis?
5.
I feel like because I was born.
It was never a
I
9
would
to
rather be a
5.
pastor.
Yeah, 9
Than
to 5.
to be a
is-
9 to
9
5,
is
you'd
not
rather
for me.
be a pastor.
Rather be a pastor.
Wow.
Small church, 5
Okay.
people offering, and I'm good.
All right, guys, thank you for coming on the show today. All right, guys, thank you so much for staying tuned. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at The Leading Circle. I really had a wonderful time, and I hope we've been able to establish the fact that Gen Zs wouldn't change their mind in working a 9 to 5 job. All right, bye.